Ever wondered how an accidental trip could shape the course of art and culture? Psychedelics, my friends, have long been catalysts for creative brilliance and cultural evolution. Let's take a mind-bending journey back in time to explore their profound influence. In the hazy annals of human history, our early ancestors didn't just stumble upon psychedelics. They embraced them, often in religious and spiritual rituals. From the indigenous tribes of the Amazon to the ancient civilizations of Egypt, these substances were considered sacred, a gateway to other dimensions, if you will. Imagine you're an ancient tribesman. You've just ingested a handful of magic mushrooms, and suddenly the world around you transforms. The trees are whispering secrets, the stars are dancing, and you're caught in a whirlwind of vibrant colors. These experiences were so powerful, so profound, that they had to be expressed somehow, and thus art was born. This art wasn't just a bunch of squiggly lines or random dots. It was a visual manifestation of their psychedelic experiences. Abstract, vivid, and often mind-boggling, these works of art were a testament to the altered states of consciousness induced by these substances. Now, imagine an ancient civilization where psychedelics were not just an individual's journey, but a societal one. The entire culture was shaped by these experiences. They influenced not just art, but also philosophy, religion, and even the social structure. Take a moment to imagine the first time an ancient artist picked up a brush, their mind teeming with psychedelic visions. They didn't have a reference, a guideline, or a psychedelic art for dummies handbook. They simply translated their experiences onto a canvas, birthing a whole new genre of art. In conclusion, our ancestors weren't just tripping for the sake of tripping. They were pioneers, explorers of the mind, their adventures leaving a lasting impact on their societies. They were the OGs of the psychedelic world, their legacy visible in the art and culture we celebrate today. So it seems the ancient tribes were onto something, doesn't it? Their trippy spiritual journeys helped shape their art and culture. From tribal rituals to the Renaissance, our ancestors sure knew how to have a good time. Now, let's turn our attention to a period of cultural rebirth, the Renaissance, a time of great artistic flourishing. But have you ever wondered why the art from this era is so, well, trippy? Some scholars speculate that psychedelics might have played a role in the Renaissance's artistic revolution. Yes, you heard that right. The great masters might have been dipping their brushes not just in paint, but perhaps in a bit of the old magic mushroom soup. Consider the intricate details found in Renaissance art, the vibrant colors, the surreal imagery, and the profound depth of symbolism. These are all hallmarks of what we now associate with the psychedelic experience. When you look at a piece from this era, it's almost as if you're peering into a dream, or better yet, a trip. Take Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights, for example. It's a painting that's so full of bizarre and fantastical imagery. It's like Bosch had a direct line to the spirit of the magic mushroom itself. And let's not forget the swirling cosmic scenes depicted by many other Renaissance artists. Could these have been inspired by a psychedelic experience? Of course, we can't say for certain. The use of psychedelics during the Renaissance is still a topic of debate among scholars. But it's an intriguing idea, isn't it? A chance to view these masterpieces not just as mere works of art, but as windows into the minds of artists who might have been exploring the same psychedelic realms that many of us are curious about today. So next time you find yourself gazing at a Renaissance painting, maybe take a moment to consider the possibility. Just think about it, Michelangelo, the great master himself, under the influence of a magic mushroom. Now, that's a Sistine Chapel I'd like to see. Fast forward to the swinging 60s, when psychedelics were not just a trip, but a journey of self-discovery. This was an era of rebellion, revolution, and renaissance, a time when the youth rose up, challenging norms and seeking to redefine the world around them. And psychedelics, well, they were the fuel that powered this cultural explosion. The 60s counterculture movement was akin to a vibrant, pulsating and psychedelic kaleidoscope. It was a time when the sound of music wasn't just heard, but seen and felt. This was largely due to the profound impact of psychedelics on the music scene. Bands like the Grateful Dead and Jefferson Airplane were not just playing music, they were creating auditory landscapes, pushing the boundaries of perception. And how can we forget Timothy Leary, the man who famously urged the youth to Turn on, tune in, drop out. Leary, a Harvard psychologist, became a counterculture icon, advocating for the therapeutic and spiritual benefits of LSD. His influence was so profound that he was dubbed the High Priest of LSD. Psychedelics also left an indelible mark on the art of the 60s. The vibrant colors, the swirling patterns, the surreal imagery. These were not just artistic choices, but reflections of altered states of consciousness. Artists began to explore the depths of their minds, creating works that were as much about the journey as they were about the destination. The impact of psychedelics on the culture of the 60s was not limited to music and art. It seeped into the fabric of society, influencing fashion, language, and even philosophy. It was a time of exploration and experimentation, of questioning authority and seeking truth. From the free-loving vibes of Woodstock to the psychedelic haze of Haight-Ashbury, the 60s was swirling with colors, and not just from the tie-dye shirts. Psychedelics had a profound impact, fundamentally transforming the era's counterculture and leaving an indelible mark that continues to resonate to this day. Now let's hop into our time machine and zoom to the present day. What's the scene like? Well, ladies and gents, it's a veritable kaleidoscope of color and consciousness. Psychedelics are making quite the splash in our modern world, and not just in the way you might think. Sure, we've got our fair share of mind-bending album covers and trippy art installations, but the influence of psychedelics goes far beyond the visual spectacle. In the realm of mental health, for instance, we're seeing a resurgence of interest in the therapeutic potential of psychedelics. Scientists, psychologists, and psychiatrists are exploring how substances like psilocybin and LSD can help treat conditions like depression, anxiety, and PTSD. It's a far cry from the days when these substances were seen as nothing more than a shortcut to a bad trip. And let's not forget the arts. From music to movies to fashion, the psychedelic aesthetic is back in a big way. Artists are drawing on the vibrant colors, intricate patterns, and transformative themes of the psychedelic experience to create works that challenge the senses and expand the mind. It's like the 60s never left. Only now we've got digital technology to crank up the volume. But it's not just about aesthetics. The psychedelic ethos, a belief in the power of self-discovery, the interconnectedness of all life, and the value of transcendent experiences, is resonating with a new generation. It's influencing how we think about nature, society, and even our own identities. So, are we living in a new age of psychedelia? Well, it's not quite the summer of love, but there's certainly a sense of a psychedelic renaissance happening. From Silicon Valley microdosers to modern shamans, from cutting-edge researchers to avant-garde artists, the influence of psychedelics is being felt across the board. And while we might not all be ready to drop acid and paint a mural, there's no denying the impact that psychedelics are having on our culture. From therapy to canvas, it seems psychedelics are making a comeback, and they're more colorful than ever. And so, what have we learned from this psychedelic journey through time? Well, we've traveled through centuries, from the artistic revolution of the Renaissance to the countercultural upheaval of the 60s, right up to the present day. And throughout this journey, we've seen how psychedelics have played a significant role in shaping our culture and art. They've sparked creativity, inspired new perspectives, and even questioned established norms. In the Renaissance, we saw how psychedelics, intertwined with mysticism and spirituality, led to an explosion of unprecedented artistry. Artists like Hieronymus Bosch used their experiences to create works that were not only visually stunning, but also deeply profound in their exploration of human consciousness. Fast forward to the 60s, a period synonymous with counterculture and revolutionary thinking. Psychedelics once again were at the heart of this cultural shift. They allowed people to break free from societal constraints, to question authority, and to explore new ways of thinking. This led to a surge in creativity across various art forms, from music and literature to visual arts and film. And today, in our modern world, psychedelics continue to influence our culture and art. They're no longer seen as taboo, but rather as tools for personal growth and creative exploration. Contemporary artists, musicians, and writers are increasingly incorporating their psychedelic experiences into their work, leading to new artistic movements and cultural shifts. But it's not just about the art. The influence of psychedelics extends beyond the canvas or the concert stage. They've shaped our understanding of consciousness, our perception of the world, and our place within it. They've challenged us to think differently, to question, to explore, and to create. Psychedelics, it seems, have not just influenced our culture and art, but shaped the way we perceive and interpret the world around us. Now that's a trip worth taking.